I've never
Wow.
seen anybody go that far with rec.
Wow.
You know, like an award ceremony. It was really cool. Like I was, well, yeah, it was cool. Yes. You don't think you appreciate that until they do it. They're like, oh, that's actually really nice that you did that. So the agenda is in the packet, right?
It is, and it should have been up on your screen.
So,
But the budget sheet that he gave you is under budgets.
okay, so then at the bottom, we'll get it. Okay,
Did you find it?
I think so.
Okay.
Just gonna keep going through it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yep, page 18. All right. Let's see. It's 9:30. So Rose, you want to come on up and give us your budget request? Good morning. How are you?
Better.
Better? Are you sick?
I was out for almost 2 months with a major surgery.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Had a abdominal surgery done. I have a 12.5-inch incision. I had to have I call it my alien
You want
arm
to tell this to everyone?
removed. I don't care.
Just tell you, 'cause
I had to have something removed from my abdomen and it was about 13 pounds. So
Oh my goodness.
it's just a growth on an ovary.
I'm glad you're okay.
We're back.
Good.
Still hashing out a few issues, but hopefully we'll get them taken under control here.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
we're glad to see you.
Diagnosis and a very quick turnaround, so I
Good.
didn't have much time to tell anybody anything.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right. So,
Mhm.
Oh, welcome.
obviously, we're here to discuss my budget. My office does operate with probably one of the lowest budgets and one of the smaller staffs in the county. But the work we do is essential to the county, to the public, lending institutions, title companies, attorneys, surveyors, real estate professionals, veterans, and anyone who depends on accurate public records. We are responsible for recording, indexing, verifying, preserving, and providing all access to permanent public records. These records document property ownership, mortgages, liens, releases, easements, plats, military discharge records, and many other documents that protect citizens, support commerce, and preserve the county history. E-recording has improved how some of these documents are submitted, and it is an extremely valuable tool. However, it has not eliminated the work that's required on the back end. Whether a document arrives electronically or as a hard copy, you must still review it, record it, index it, verify it, balance it, and make it searchable. The method of delivery may have changed, but the legal responsibility and accuracy has not. This year also showed how important it is for the staffing in my office, because we are small, and it's important to make sure that they are educated on how to do every aspect of the job. They still had to operate every day. Documents still had to be recorded, fees still had to be balanced, customers still needed help, and phones had to be answered. My staff did a fantastic job, and I'm extremely proud of them for me being out for almost a month, just over a month. They handled everything with professionalism, and they did everything perfect. It says a lot about my staff. I know some people question why I have a part-time person, but that part-time person is obviously extremely needed for my job, because everything ran super smooth with 2 people in there when I was out. I can't say enough about my staff. I'm extremely proud of them. I can give you some numbers. In 2025, at this time frame, we have recorded 328 documents by e-record. This year, there's a 77% increase in that. We've done 582 so far. In 2025, with e-record, we collected $24,000 in recording fees. We have a 98% increase in those recording fees this year. We're at $48,000. That's just e-record. And like I said, on the back end of that, we still have to touch that document at least 3 times. It's not just push a button and we're done. We've got to do all of our checks and everything on it. Hard copies in the office, the ones that are paper that were delivered to us. 2025, we had 1,056 hard copy documents. This year, we're at 11,000 or 1,109 in the office. So that's a 5% increase in hard copy documents this year. Our recording fees altogether, we have a 29% increase over last year. The mortgage amounts so far this year are at 478,656,000. We've recorded a total of 691 documents so far this year, which is a 22% increase over last year's amount. And then our data users, this is the $25 a day or $250 a month. We have a 65% increase in service fees from this at this time from last year at this time. So we've made $5,051 in service fees, and we keep all of that money. That doesn't go anywhere but right directly to us. CIC doesn't split that out at all. We get all of that money. And sometimes I'll get checks from CIC for this service for $6,000, depending on how many users we have. We have 11 yearly data contract users, and that brings in about $5,600 a year. So
When she says they keep that money, it doesn't go to them.
it goes to the general.
Correct, yes, yes, I would clarify that.
I thought we were just talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
No, it goes to the general fund. And is there any questions or anything I can answer for you guys?
I don't have any, commissioners. I think you've done a wonderful job. We apologize for one. Didn't know you were gone.
No, that's-
It ran so smooth. We didn't know any niches going
Says
on.
a lot about my staff. They did a
Oh,
fantastic job.
thank you. Likewise.
They really did. So I'm very proud of them. They
Okay.
had a couple hiccups that they had to call me on, but other than that, they did really good. So, and I was in no shape too. I figured I'd be out just for a couple of weeks and be back.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong. So now we can talk about my budget if you'd like. Training, that line item, I reduced that by $1,500. So I went from 3,000 to just 1,500 next year. I don't do a lot of travel and training. Not to say that the year after that it might change, possibly, I don't know. And then there was a line item, miscellaneous personal expense for $200. Marcus and I both didn't know what that was for. It's been there forever, so I eliminated that. So I've actually reduced my budget by what, 4%, I think?
Yeah, and that included some of the personnel, because there's some personnel shifts. They actually have their part-time person that comes out of the
Tech funds.
comes out of the tech funds, so that helps in there. But overall, she really $1,700 out of the budget because there's not a lot of operational line items really in the registry. She found it.
Anything else?
I don't believe so. Thank you,
I
Rose.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank
you. Sure glad to see you.
Thank you. I never thought I'd say it, but it's good to be back.
All right, we got the Tim Hamilton moratorium extension, resolution 060624.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is just to kind of follow up with the June 18th Planning Commission meeting. It was the Planning Commission basically considered an extension to resolution 060624. That would be the moratorium that's been placed on alternative energy sources currently not addressed in Article 21. That's scheduled to expire on July 1st. The commission is recommending a 2-year extension with no additional changes to the wording to function as a pause while consideration of other uses that would be like the data centers, battery energy storage. This being basically at the priority at the direction of the county. The planning commission will forward a recommendation on a moratorium regarding data centers once additional information on their needs has been collected. Whether one will be needed. So like I say, this is something that I know we had talked about this previously as well. Your options would be you could approve the extension for the period of 2 years or any duration acceptable to what you would feel would be appropriate, or you could just say extend.
My only question is why 2 years? Why is 2 years the number?
2 years would, I think the reasoning was it would give give the planning commission time to look at the other issues that are taking precedence, the data centers, like as an example. I'm not anticipating the data centers to take beyond 6 months, but that would be something that's currently not addressed in this resolution. But they said they'll talk to you about that probably at a future meeting. I'll probably come to you with a recommendation on that. But I think the reason 2 years is to give them a chance to not only collect information, get the data center issue resolved first, but also to gather, if they want to direct staff to gather some more information on solar, if there's been any changes in, like, let's say, nuclear, small scale nuclear, that sort of thing, hydrogen, and collect all that information ahead of time. If they, gives them a little, they feel it gives them a little bit of flexibility in directing staff to gather some more information.
Just to be clear, does a moratorium stop the application of a conditional use permit?
What it does is it puts a pause on any submittals until it gets addressed in the regulations. It's not like it just says, okay, we're going to put a pause on this. You're in the queue to be considered, but it's going to be.
And sorry, I'm leading you down. I'm trying to get the full picture up.
Yeah.
Alternative energy includes, what exactly does that include?
Whatever is currently not addressed right now, we address wind energy and we address small scale solar. But we're talking about commercial grade solar, commercial grade hydrogen production. I'm talking about energy plants, nuclear type facilities. Those are the ones that come to mind first. There's going to be a lot more types of energy that are going to be coming up, in the future. But that kind of like covers the general what's out there right now.
Okay. And those are accepted alternative energy statutes by everyone else's regulations. Nuclear or alternative energy. Let me ask it that way. Okay. Okay.
What if you decide whichever way you want to go with this, like if you want to extend it, whichever way, or if you choose not to, but if you do choose to extend it, then what staff will do is reformat it and then resubmit it at a future date for you to consider.
Do you think you want to follow their recommendation, extend it for 2 years, or would you like to shorten that?
2 years is a long time, but me personally, I don't know where everyone else is, but 2 years is it's a long time. That'd be my knee-jerk reaction to it. I don't think it's going to take you 2 years to do, like you said. To be real honest with you, I don't think it should take longer than 6 months. So I think 6 months is quite a long time. I understand they have jobs, but they also agreed to be on the planning and zoning board. So that would be kind of my reaction. A year seems more appropriate to me than 6 months, but I get it. I'm not trying to bucket too much here. I don't know what you guys are thinking here, but we need to have regulations. I'm not trying to just, we've done 2 years and we're doing that. That's 4 years. How, we're gonna do it again? We're just gonna do it indefinitely, or what's their plan?
Well, they're based on, what they have, the feedback that I've got is that this would, like I say, enable them to direct me to get some additional information while that's going on. And like I say, it's probably not going to take longer than what you could do is you could say 2-year moratorium, or a two-year moratorium, and then say, like, let's say if I tell you that it's only going to take maybe 6 months to address hydrogen, or 6 months to address nuclear. As those are addressed, those come off the moratorium once they get put in the regulations. So you see what I'm saying? So so you would have like 6 months to do
So we do like text amendments. And
we'll do a text.
Right.
And then that falls, once that gets put in the regulations, once a resolution comes to you to make that amendment for that particular energy source, then that comes off the moratorium. And so it automatically does. So the 2 years is to kind of cover all the possible energy sources that, that are considered alternative energy that are currently not addressed in the regulations. And I think, like I say, it's each one of those individually will fall off that moratorium once they, less.
We don't need to mimic Saline County necessarily, but what was their moratorium?
They had
Seems like there were some that were 3, but I might.
Yeah, they had 3. One was to address one for each year. I mean, a year for each use that was being considered. So like one for data centers, a year for the individual alternative energy sources. So that they had like 2. They were concerned about the solar and the hydrogen, I think. And
So their planning and zoning is going to work on one for a year, but all of them are 3 years.
Yeah, it's in total 3 years. And then what I just kind of like how I described to you is right now they're getting close to the data center thing being put together, or directing staff over there to put it. So that's going to, once I put that in the regulation, that's going to fall off. And I'd say probably within the next couple of months. So once that happens, then that falls off that moratorium. And the only other 2 that we have to deal with would be the alternative energy sources that they gave the direction on. And that's not going to take long either. So it's just to give the county commission was thinking, giving the planning commission enough time to review and go over and get public input as well during the process. So whether you want to, I don't know, each county is different in how they do it there. But, and just on the side topic with what you said about the public input, staff right now is investigating the potential of having additional public input during this process. Right now, Chapter 19 of state statutes dictate that public comment is heard for, like, let's say, resolutions that are in front of the planning commission, or any application like for a conditional use permit or rezoning. But if it's like just a general discussion where the gathering information, the state statutes don't address that. And so I want to make sure that we, as far as public input goes, and so I want to make sure that we do everything in the spirit of the state statutes are a way of allowing public input during that time of review. And so that will be something that that's something we're investigating, make sure that we're staying in keeping with the spirit and intent of the state statutes as well. So.
Thank you. No doubt, it's very important that the public be informed. Is there any effective way that we can inform the public, voting and non-voting people, of the issues that are going to be coming up, get an opinion?
So obviously we put it on our website and we post it on Facebook. So you're looking like a straw poll is what you're, yes, and that is something that we have talked about as well, and we could. It's just gonna take some time for us to get that up and running and just keep it a simple question, but yeah, we can certainly do something along those lines.
Because there'll be some coming in the future that we probably don't know now, but it'd be nice to get an idea of their thoughts, and sure, they change. But the public can then be informed a little bit and get back to us, because this is kind of like chasing the dog backwards a little bit.
But they also have to pay attention to what's going on. But I will caution you or say that, yes, we can do that, and the Board of County Commissioners can make this decision. The next set of commissioners can change it. Because the final authority rests with you,
Yeah.
which that's what you were elected to do.
Sometimes the window of opportunity for business is limited.
Mhm.
Any kind of restriction on time can be, and I'm not using it as a threat that you're not gonna get your cookie if you don't buy it now type thing, but you have to move swiftly on certain, many business issues, or you lose. Lindsay was saying, you snooze, you lose. So, but I think we need to be effective, and I don't want to override the zoning board by any means or anything like that, but maybe there needs to be an amendment to this to speed the process up.
And you have that, you can make that recommendation back to them.
2 years to me, I don't even remember everything I did 2 years ago. Like, that's a long time to talk about a single issue on a monthly meeting. You're gonna have 24 meetings in between then and now. You're telling me everything, like that's
Well, that's
way too long.
That's why I was saying the 2 years would cover all three of those, as each one was addressed in the regulations or a resolution would come due for each individual
Because the current
use, then that would fall off.
The current one basically regulates commercial solar energy projects, renewable energy projects, or a component thereof. It also suspends renewable energy technology except under Article 21, the zoning regulations. It also restricts, I guess, even setting guidelines up for them to do a permit. And there's just nothing. They don't get a
Guidelines for a permit would be part of the resolution.
real regulations. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And just,
Me personally, just talking to the commissioners here, I think 6 months is plenty enough time to come up with a resolution or some sort of direction. I think you give them 2 years, they'll take 2 years. That's where I'm at. I don't want to, I'm with Ron a little bit here. I don't think we should take 2 years. I think what we're doing there is putting the can down the road. Is all we're
Do you
doing.
want that for everything? Alternative energy sources, data centers, battery energy sources?
yeah, you can, you
Kind
can,
of up to all of us, but
So I think to also give clarity to the public, maybe it would be helpful to have, they need to know that it's just not being stalled or like you say, kicked down the road. So what is the plan that they can get the meaningful information, but also, tasking the board to look into it. And I know you mentioned 6 months, and then you mentioned a year, and then you mentioned the 3 years Saline County's doing, but they have it in 3 parts. So what if we did it 6 months on each part? So it'd be like a year and a half. And then figure out which is the first one you want them to address. And then that way the public focuses in on that.
which that's been data centers.
And then they know what the second one is, and they know what the third one is.
I can get behind a plan like that.
And, but that way, it needs to be where the public has an understanding and, they can say, okay, this is what they're doing. And because otherwise it'll be like, we'll get all 3 issues or multiple issues. And
It is not going to take for each one.
one's not as heavy lifting as the other.
We usually don't take comments, study, but I'll take the comment. What do you got?
I urge you guys to watch this meeting. If it was recorded,
I watched it.
and then you guys will understand where they're coming from. And the council recommendations of why 2 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't just to do research, it was to sort of cover their behinds or something. Somebody wanted to come in and see that. That's why they needed an accurate.
Why would they, what would they need to cover the behind for?
If somebody came in and said they were doing this just to keep people out. That they have, I mean, if you watch the video.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. That's interesting.
It's not them that's gonna get sued though.
I know, but they're trying to protect everybody.
It's up to the county commission to give the direction to the planning and zoning board as to what they would like to do.
Send that back to them and
Mhm.
ask them to consider, methodically how to do it.
Yeah, it's tough. So these are always tough things, you guys. Very tough things. Last one was so much fun. I don't know what to repeat that too many times.
It's a little bit of a separate issue, but, and so right now, water's no concern, but 3 or 4 months ago, do we have the water supply, sustained water supply to, handle some of these and so does that.
And that's one of the issues that's gonna be discussed,
Mm.
that they're gonna have to consider their decision on whether or not a certain use is, whether they recommend a certain use.
And that's, they have asked to have industrial hydrologist provide them information, speak to them about that. So
Well, we're not voting on this today, correct? You didn't, at least you didn't ask us to. Okay.
we can add it to the agenda for next week.
You guys want to chew on this for a week and I could,
So, yes.
I'd like to talk to some people and see what they think, so. Okay. Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate you presenting it as such.
Yeah.
A touchy subject.
And just to let you know, there are no pending applications and no one has approached us about any of these.
Okay. Makes sense. Good morning. Official court. How you doing?
Yeah.
Who wants to come up first?
You ready?
Yeah.
I would love to.
Morning, Your Honor, Judge.
Well, it's always a pleasure. You folks, and I guess we should state the obvious.
Chair on there trying to be.
Greatly appreciate it. You'll notice the overall state judicial district budget, Dickinson County's gone up a couple ticks, from 28%
Okay.
to 30%. Caseload, what I'll tell you, it's deceptive because you think the Dickinson County, it's not a big county. But when you put our 8 judicial districts together and you talk about caseloads in the state, we come in 5th or 6th every time. Between Gary County and Dickinson County, you're talking 82% of the caseload in the 8th judicial district. And so we're right behind. And those 4 counties above, Douglas, Shawnee, Wyandotte, and Johnson County, they're called the Big 4. And those individuals have special meetings. The clerks have special meetings, the chief judges have special meetings. So although we're, together, we're small counties, it's a big judicial district. It's a large caseload district. So kind of deceptive. To talk about that uptick of 2%, if you look at the mediation cost, we conduct more mediation here in Dickinson County than we do in Gary County. Our criminal cases here have gone up substantially. And so in the 2025, there were, I think, we had 41 cases mediated to Gary County's 29.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's an active county. But other than that, our county budgets have not increased greatly. There's a few upticks in a few spots, but nothing nothing like these servers that we talked about. And remember, we started coming in, I think, the first year and warning you folks that we have those servers coming around. Those servers have been, you folks have been kind enough to front the money for that. They're paid for, they're in. So I don't have anything to look at you now and say, we have a big ticket item coming around the corner. And I don't foresee anything in the future of any big ticket item. Everything is, we're blessed to have the courtrooms we have, the facilities we have. It's wonderful. And I hear that from out-of-town attorneys that come in. I hear that from judges, the 28 judges of Sling County came over and looked all through our facilities before they started redoing theirs when they added judgeships over there. So you folks have kind of created a golden beacon for people for our size here in Dickinson County, and we're very blessed. So thank you. But I'll be happy to take any questions in regards to the budget that you have.
I don't understand what mediation means. What does that mean?
Okay, so, and we've done it for a long time. My uncle Tom was a judge up in Shawnee County for a long time. And he started it back when I was practicing law. He would tell me about, he would have another judge that had a difficult case that they didn't want to go to trial. And so he would step in as a third party, bring in the defense attorneys, bring in the prosecutors, bring in the victims, and sit down and try to mediate what he would do in a civil case. COVID came around and it became extremely popular. To back at the backload of cases that had created, I did a tremendous amount of mediations during that time. I was going down to Emporia and doing a lot of mediations, going to Hutchinson, doing a lot of mediations, a lot of mediations here. And so when COVID kind of subsided, I had retired judges, Judge Segura, I had Judge Hornbaker, I had Judge Powers, who all retired. And I thought, well, what a wonderful thing. We'll tap in and we'll keep that program going. And just about every district in the state of Kansas has kept it going, and they have some type of mediation. In fact, Johnson County now, they have a huge criminal mediation, and it's all private. We've got hometown discounts, and I'm not sure how long that's going to go on. Keith Henry, a retired attorney, is helping us out now here in Dickinson County, and that amount of money we pay on mediation is probably about half what we should be paying, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Really a jury trial.
Oh, well, I was kind of reading in between the lines there. I figured it was.
The advantage, you first of all, the most dangerous thing is, and Cindy knows this, attorneys sometimes have had to wait until right at the end. Well, by that time, the clerks have done all the mailings. We've gone through, there's been a tremendous amount of effort to get that jury trial ready to go. Mediation, we schedule early, so it makes them prepare for the cases early, and hopefully it heads the mailings off and all the costs that go into that. So that's the theory. And I should bring up Cindy, because Cindy is, this will be her last budget meeting, regretfully so, unless you folks can put some sort of proclamation to keep her around. I encourage you to do. And I should introduce, we have Cindy McDonald, who we have been blessed to have here in Dickinson County. She's just been tremendous, and she's thought of highly across the state. Marcia Lindsay, who aspires to be in that position, is now setting in and taking part in the budget process. Of course, I don't know where I'd be without Nikki, the Davenport, our court administrator. Courtney Parker, I think this is probably your first official budget meeting as head of the court service, has done a tremendous job and seamless taking over for Lois. And Stephanie Petrie, and I'll brag on Stephanie a little bit here. Stephanie is the court trustee, and of course, you'll love that budget because you have absolutely nothing to pay for in that budget. She eats what she kills. Self-sufficient, but extremely well done. You do the child support in the 8th and 9th, and then you do debt collection in the 8th, 9th, 28th.
12th, 1st, and 28th.
Right, and so she's very impressive, runs a very, very efficient office.
I don't know what question to ask you, Judge. Are we doing well? Are we fighting crime? I don't know how to answer this question.
The jury trials have kind of slowed down. The caseload hadn't slowed down much, but And we're still setting a lot of jury trials, but some of them seem to be settling out, which is a good thing. But we're also blessed, and I brought on Keith Hoffman. Keith was here because it's important, I think, for the citizens to know that they have that protection. And Keith protected the citizens extremely well. And I think you have that protection with Mr. Abbey. He's a smart young man. He's a diligent young man. He's a hard worker. He runs my experience, a very good office. So I think the citizens of Dickinson County are well taken care of.
I think you timed that perfectly.
He's not in it.
You timed that just-
You've got a jury trial that I'd like to go out.
Shoot. Commissioners,
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Very
thank
much.
you, Judge.
And again, thank you.
Thank you
guys.
for your dedication. I just think how complex it is and everything going on and. Yeah.
I'm closer to the end than I am at the beginning.
Well, that's what I was worried about.
Or at least as long as I'm
But I very much appreciate that. But I tell you what, you folks, I'll never forget when Commissioner Chamberlain came in and goes, Ben, what can you do in the courtroom? And boy, you guys just took the ball and ran with it. And I look at this courthouse now, and I look at what Gary County's done. If you haven't been by Gary County and what they've done to their courthouse, it's a blessing because not all courthouses are like this. And we're all very, very, very appreciative.
Well, I'll say this, I grew up here and I'm not trying to age you here, but you've been the judge since I've been around. It's a pleasure and an honor to serve in this building with you. I just wanted to tell you that. I didn't tell you that last year, but it's a really cool experience.
Very
So
kind.
Just
Thank you.
thought I'd tell you.
Totally agree.
Appreciate it.
And I remember you before you were a judge.
Right. He's got
His pretty good in sports, I recall. People stayed out of his way.
wrestling stories.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
I like what you guys did here. This is the first commission meeting I've been to. I love that.
Yeah, Cindy, it is an open meeting, so you could come back.
Yeah, I mean, the trip back and forth to Salina every day for 24 years, I will not miss that. Well, that's true as well.
Me too. I go through the junction.
Yeah, the junction in Salina, yeah.
I mean, this one, I almost got me turned up.
I know, you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Mr. Abbey,
All right.
you are a little early. County Attorney Brock Gant. Good morning, sir.
Morning. As you mentioned, Rockaway County Attorney, came in to talk about the budget. First, I'll start with, obviously, you all know this, but anyone listening, my office is staffed by 3 attorneys, 5 other persons who are designated under the pay plan as paralegals. There are 4 of them that do the technical paralegal work, and 1 person designated as the victim witness coordinator. Those 5 people support the 3 attorneys in all of the cases we do. They're assigned various duties to different kinds of cases, and that way they're kind of specialized amongst the kind of cases we do. And I'll just jump into that. I don't meet with you very often, so I'm going to take this opportunity again to update you where we're at year over year as we get started. So I looked just this morning to kind of see where we're at today with case filing versus where we were yesterday. And then the criminal cases, the ones I look at, especially because they're the ones that tend to be much more involved and have the potential to be significantly higher charges than the other cases. So today we have on file 117 criminal cases, and I know on the paralegals' desks right now there's probably 6 or 8 or 10 cases waiting to be filed. At the same point last year, in 2025, on June 25th, we had 110 cases, so we're just slightly higher this year, 7 more cases at this point. In traffic cases, again, on the same date last year, we had 536 cases. Today we have 817. And juvenile offender cases, we had 25, and today we have 35. And the child in need of care cases, this is the cases that if you don't know what they are, they're the ones of the abused and neglected children where the courts have to intervene. They're down significantly. That's a good sign. We had 31 at this point last year, and we have 16 this year. That's good for a number of reasons, but two, that number can fluctuate because when the courts get involved with those, it's typically families. Sometimes they have one kid, sometimes they have 3 or 4 or 5. And if they have 3 or 4 or 5 kids, there's a case number for each kid. So that number being down by almost half is really good. The MR cases, which again are the search warrants that courts issue, the inquisition subpoenas that law enforcement go through my office to issue. Those are to get usually like business records and stuff like that. Last year we had 77 at this point. We're at 70 this year. The care and treatment, the mental health type cases were on even par. We had 5 last year. We have 4 right now. And the fish and game, again, about even with last year. I know last year is when we kind of had the spike where we went up to 22 and we only had about half that the year before. So we had 8 last year at this time and we have 9 right now. So a lot of things staying even. Obviously the significant increases are, and those top 3 that usually involve us more, the criminal, the traffic, and the juvenile offenders. As far as my budget, as you can see, Marcus and I went through that and tried to make some cuts where we could. Some of those ones we noticed that weren't getting used much, like the equipment maintenance, we cut down. We cut down in the postage. That one I hesitated on because I know postage keeps going up, and there's several things that our office is obligated to send out. So, especially in those juvenile cases, we have to send out notices to parents and grandparents and people that may be interested in those cases. Sometimes we can't find those people. They have to be published or sent out in places so that that's on there. We've cut down the office supplies budget a little bit. We cut down, pretty significantly some of those, the capital outlay and the IT expenses. We've recently upgraded some of the IT stuff. We had iPads in the last year that we've all upgraded in our office. We use those when we're not in the office to work, to review search warrants and stuff like that we have to do before the courts can look at them. So we cut that down significantly, realizing we're not going to need those every year. We just renewed those. We renewed them because the ones we had were significantly old enough that they were aged out and they weren't going to be supported anymore by Apple. And similar to the capital outlay, we cut that one by 50%. The bad news is the ones that are going up. And so we tried to moderate those with those cuts as well. But the Attorney General's contract to do the appeals, as you'll recall, when I started in 2023, we made the decision to have the Attorney General's office do the appeals in the criminal cases. And the way they figure out how much we have to pay every year is they look at it back at a 3-year average. And so, as you know, 3 years ago, 2023 is when I started, the appeals started going up significantly there. And I think I've reported to you each year how many cases we have pending at a time. I still continue to believe that we're saving money by that contract because though it's expensive to do that, and I know this year it went up as a percentage significantly. I think it went from like 11,000 to 16,000. That's why we've been asked to increase that line item. Even at 16,000, I think that that's a bargain for you and for my office, because otherwise the statute says any work that the attorneys in my office do that aren't in the courts upstairs that we do in the appellate courts, the county pays us separately for. So we would basically create an hourly rate for you to pay us. And just from my experience in doing those appellate briefs, they're tens and tens of hours. And if you're talking about even $100 an hour, 120, 150, whatever the bids rate is for defense attorneys, if we were paid equal to that, which is still significantly less than private attorneys, you would still be spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But I would imagine quite a bit more than 16,000 a year to pay the attorneys in my office to do those. The benefit we also obtain is the Attorney General's office has the Solicitor General's office do that, and that's all those attorneys do is appeals. So they're much on top of those subjects for the appeals and aware of the law, and the other briefs are on the state addressing the same issues. So it's much more efficient for them to handle it. And the final part of that is they get to decide what those briefs say anyway. So you could pay me a lot of money to write a brief, and I could send it to them and they'd say, no, rewrite it. This is what we're arguing in our office, and they get to tell us that. So Again, that saved us a lot of money. The other one that went up kind of significantly is the Westlaw contract. We have 3 licenses in my office for that. That's the legal research software. We have 3 licenses because they're particular about password sharing. They won't let us do that. And that went up. That line item specifically went up in the last few years because prior to us having these Westlaw subscriptions, the law library paid for the county attorney's office, and the attorneys that did indigent defense paid for a LexisNexis subscription. And they decided not to do that anymore. So we all had to go out on the market and find our own. I was always, they're comparably priced, but I always found Westlaw to be more user-friendly and easier to use. So that's the one we went with. And with all the AI stuff coming out recently, the subscription we had before was being aged out. They called it like a legacy software, and it was only going to be available for 1 more year. So we had to pick the different program software that we'd have to go to the next year anyway. So we went with this package, and the way we worked it out is instead of doing a year-to-year practice on this and being subject to the pricing changes they had then, we locked in on the contract for 3 years, and it guaranteed that our rate wouldn't change any more than 10% year over year. And I think we had been experiencing changes up to 35% from year to year. So it made sure we were never going to be, for 3 years, we weren't going to be increasing that line item by much more. So we did create that savings. As far as the budget goes, other than that, you can kind of see where we kept some of those things steady. There's some of those I think I've talked to you about that are just, I don't know, X factors or unknowns. Some of those are like the same start line items. Those are, the law says the county has to pay for those when somebody goes to the hospital to get a SANE exam. If there's a criminal case, the court can order that cost reimbursed to the county. But if the victim chooses not to make a report to law enforcement, we still have to pay that bill. And if there's never a criminal case, we can't get reimbursed for it. So as it sounds, we never know how many people are going to go in for a SANE SART exam. We never know how many of those are going to yield a criminal case and possible reimbursement. So we're just asking to keep that steady and flat, just in case. Those bills, the rate are set by law or set by KDHE. And that's what the hospitals have to bill us at that rate. And my recollection, if it serves me right, it's around $750 to $1,000 for $750 to $1,000 for each one. So at $7,500, if you have 10 and they're $750, that eats it up. If you have fewer and they're closer to $1,000, it's just one that can fluctuate, and we don't want to risk, going over the budget if we have to. The other one that's kind of similar in that, and it's just I don't know, is the extraditions and transports. If you'll recall, that was a sheriff's line item that was moved over to my budget and from the sheriff's, I think last year, not the year before. Again, asking to keep that steady because, again, we don't know how many people are going to fail to return to court and how far we'll have to go get them. Sometimes it's only to Colorado or Missouri or Oklahoma or something like that. It's cheap. Sometimes when it's Florida or California or one of those states, it's several thousands of dollars. So about 25,000 can get ate up pretty quick by just a few of those if necessary. And so we're asking to keep that steady just as a precaution to make sure we have it covered. I know when we met with Marcus and did our budgets, we didn't really talk about the personnel line items. That's your prerogative on what you do with the pay plan and the grade and stuff like that, and raises mine. I'll just say this, from what I've told you about my staff and what they do, I'm going to ask you to follow the administration's recommendations as far as the pay plan and help our folks out with that cost of living increase. It's going to be my request to join them on that. And I'll take any questions you have.
The sheriff had mentioned that now they have a new system that they reciprocate with other law enforcement agencies. So sometimes if someone's on the West Coast,
Can save money.
they bring them.
It's called the Northwest Shuttle.
Sure.
It's an agreement amongst, I think, people, if you drew a line down the United States right through Kansas, it's pretty much an agreement of law enforcement agencies west of that. It's just when it was started out, it was called the Northwest Shuttle. I know there's other places in Kansas that are parts of it, and specifically I want to say Dodge City is maybe Liberal somewhere over there. I'm not sure if there's anyone east of us, but there's some west of us. The convenience of that is, yes, it does save a lot of money. So if I have somebody we need to go pick up in Nevada and, so Dodge City does too, one of the agencies will go do it and pick up the cost and the other agency doesn't have to pay anything. So it's, sometimes we pay it, sometimes they pay it, sometimes it's no cost to us, sometimes the cost is to us. And that's, it's very nice because I've had them where Dodge City goes and picks somebody up and brings them all the way back to Abilene. So they go out of their way to come back to Abilene. That's just part of the agreement. So it saves us, we have to go to Dodge City to pick some up sometimes.
So you have that kind of factored in on your transportation.
Yes, it's still, we use it when we can. Kelly's the one, the sheriff's office that arranges, to transport either through them or through Cobble Transport. And so she endeavors to make sure we do it the cheapest way we can. The shuttle's used first if we can, and if no one's going, we got to go get them, then we contact Cobble.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I said,
Put that off a month, you gotta go sometimes.
you don't usually give much notice. Kelly, and some of that depends too. So we have a warrant out for them here and they're picked up in another state. When they're picked up, they may have their own charges there. So they sit there and wait. And then as soon as they're done, they drop notice to the sheriff's office. Hey, come get them. This is how long we have. We usually try to get them picked up within a week. Part of that is kind of what we hope and expect other states to do when, their inmates, if somebody's wanted in Colorado and they're arrested here, they sit in our jail till Colorado comes and gets them at our expense. So when they're ready to go, we try and encourage them to come get them really quickly.
Well, I'm on the board of the juvenile detention center, so we do appreciate the business you're throwing our way, but it's a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah. Are we keeping it full or?
Yeah.
I am. So Brooke and Daryl, the way it works with juveniles, when Brooke was hired, I worked up there too. So she primarily worked for Daryl just to avoid that one. Andre Purvis was the county attorney. So Brooke and Daryl keep me pretty informed about how many kids we have detained. Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I kind of did thank you for your service and.
That's pretty humbling. Just, I don't think you knew I was here. It's pretty humbling to.
Yeah, well, I don't think you did either.
Much appreciated.
Those are glasses with mirrors and.
Yeah. All right, very good.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jennifer, you have a request.
Let me go there.
Up to you.
So I'm not requesting for an increase in per se hourly for the poll workers. I just want to fairly compensate them for the time that they're actually there. Because previously in the resolution 020124, it was based on 12 hours a day, $12 an hour. But they're more there. They're more than 12 hours there. They have to go in early to get set up. A lot of them, if not all of them, are going in the day before to also set up to get ready on election day. And then the polls close at 7, but they can't just leave. They have to count down things, shut down equipment, clean up the polling locations, and then come here and deliver materials and ballots to us. So I was just asking that we maybe think about maybe compensating them more fairly. Also, the training used to be 30 minutes to an hour. It's more 2.5 hours. I want to give them plenty of time to understand what I'm expecting of them, because in the end, it falls on me if they're not fully trained correctly. We used to pay them $20 to come to that training. I just want to increase it to 30, which again, basically $12 an hour. So 12 times 2 hours, 24 plus $6 for 2.5, so 30. So that's where I came up with those totals.
And it's not exactly like people are knocking on your door to do this, are they?
No.
So this is kind of trying to maintain some helpers.
So it's my responsibility if I know that they are there longer than what we compensated them for before, that maybe I should bring it up and bring it before you. Still with
Judges and clerks of the election where voting machines are used shall receive for their services an amount to be fixed by resolution of the Board of County Commissioners. Okay, 40 per day. I thought it was different. Yeah.
and that I believe that statute's from 1985.
No, I thought we were low, to be honest.
So I was just
It's a bit different.
giving you all the information when I.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how you guys feel about it. Hey, I'm sorry. I keep.
Okay. I still would be able to, like, my budget for next year that I already proposed would be able to cover the increase. So that I wouldn't be increasing the budget. Next year, we don't typically have a primary because city school, if we did, it would be one, maybe two districts. Are very rare for city schools. So I would only have one election typically in a city school election year.
It's important we take care of the people. It's price of inflation. I think everybody ought to have 100% raise. It's hard to keep up. And that's just a joke.
And then lower taxes an equal amount.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, to kind of sometimes see some humor in the tough times like we do have. I'll have to embarrass you guys because I can remember times when we used to work on the farms and ranches and we were paid $2.50 an hour. You
Man,
look today and you think, oh my goodness, we were way underpaid. But that was the times. That's what, a dollar went a long ways back then. But it's different today. You go to purchase anything particularly. I'm doing my spiel on economics is receiving $2.50 an hour for wages back in the old days for working on the farm.
Oh, I thought it was per day.
No, it's $2.50 per hour.
Oh, I thought it was per day.
No. Well,
You're younger than I think.
You probably remember those days, Ed.
I mean, yeah, I guess my only thing I was thinking of is this is fine, probably on a normal election year. But what if you have like 5 special, like 2 or 3? I mean, you're gonna increase your costs a lot more than $1,400. That's my only concern. And then I just don't know if be real open and honest. I don't know if we can afford it.
when we do have
I
special,
know it's a little amount, but with what the whole budget we're talking about.
when we do have special elections, it's based on a jurisdiction wanting it, and they do reimburse us
Do
for special elections.
I don't know what you guys talked about while I was going, but
Oh, wait,
We slipped it in. We wanted a lot more money.
I did say while you were gone that it would not increase my budget for next year, what I had already proposed.
Yeah.
City school, I typically only have one election in general. One time I have a primary is because we had too many candidates run for a certain jurisdiction.
sounds like it's in your budget. But we gotta pass the policy, don't we?
You have to amend the
You have to
resolution.
amend the resolution. If you like, we can add it to the agenda for next week. If that's what you direct us to do.
probably can add it to the agenda next week. Yeah. So with what Rose Johns was mentioning earlier, on her situation, how critical it is and the accuracy and such. And, in the elections, a lot of times I've known some of the people for quite a while or so on, but I mean, you just know they're very detail oriented. That's something we want, everything perfect within reason. So,
And that's a question I asked to a lot of employees, some of the employees that leave. My first question is, was it about wages? And it's not, and I'm proud to say that. They didn't leave because they weren't getting, and some of it was their families are moving to different locations or like got a job somewhere else too. But we don't want that to happen. I don't mean to be throwing taxpayers' money away, but we have to maintain a good quality people and enough of them to do the job. So, and like this election thing, I can remember if you never served on that capacity, it's hard to understand what's involved, but it's not an easy thing. And my wife had served on it a couple of years, and boy, the stuff, there's a lot, there's a lot of work to that.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
It's a lot of expectation on them to make sure everything goes through.
It has to work.
Perfect.
The one thing I continually hear is, so that we've got the best machines and the newest and all that.
Yeah.
People want to see the results of elections.
Instantaneous.
Instantaneous, and I mean, I don't know how to address that, because, you know, you'll turn on the TV and they have so many precincts in and this and that. And they announce it on the radio and so on. So that's kind of the feedback I get, that people say with all the equipment we have and the efficiency of the election system. And I know there's snags sometimes, and that's not a dollar item. It's just, of course, when there's a special election too, I mean, you know, everybody on both sides a lot of times is.
Well, we get to see what these elections are like when we do the canvas. It's a lot of work, even on our part.
Yeah. It's just a small portion,
Yeah, it's a small portion. You guys have it all worked
One
out.
ingredient.
but it all combines to be the end result. So we appreciate everybody's time and
Yeah.
help.
But this year, we got new machines.
Mhm.
We want an increase in pay. Okay, great. So we're gonna get results out quick and fast and
Well, that's the expectation. The state has a new requirement to get all results on election night by the end of the day. So we kind of need those things to be able to do that.
Okay.
Besides write-ins.
okay.
And there's the no more 3-day grace period anymore. So.
Split up here, it's not really, we weren't sure where we were gonna end up at, and luckily we're kind of ahead of schedule today, so I was hoping to touch base on the budget a little bit more today. So when we first started the budget process, I was talking last week about how it's been challenging. It gets more challenging every year as we've tried our best to continue to battle against the increase in costs that are coming in every year. When I first started this process with the team and entered in the 2026 budget, 2027 numbers, I mean, we were almost at a $6 million increase, which we knew was not going to be something that we could even consider. So we went to work. Everybody, we had a lot of meetings with all the departments on what we can do, where we can find some cuts. We were able to, so far, been able to cut a little over $2 million out of that. And I'll kind of run through where we found some of that. And so right now, with those numbers in front of you, it's I know it's really small, but today I'm sitting at a mill levy of about 49.367 mills, which is 1 mil lower than we were last year. Last year we were at 50.405. To get to the revenue neutral rate, you still have to be at 48.8. So we're still looking at about a half a mil that would need to be reduced, which right now, in order to get to revenue neutral rate, you'd want to be somewhat, we need to reduce it by about $160,000. Just to kind of go through a little bit on where some of these savings have come out of that $2 million. We had to go back through. We were able to just looking through some of the 2026 numbers with some of the position openings that we've had and some of the salary projections. There was about $176,000 there, just based on positions that were not filled throughout the year and what we're anticipating moving forward for the rest of 2026. When we got together as a group, we talked with all of our managers this week, and multiple people came to us to try to find solutions. Dispatch, actually, Amber came to the table pretty big. We've always budgeted for 10 positions in dispatch. She's been utilizing PRNs, which are part-time employees, to come in and help cover some of the shifts because we've been short-staffed for a number of years now. She actually said that with the usage of PRNs, she believes that she could reduce her staff numbers by 2. And so we were able to cut 2 positions out of dispatch. That would put us That's a savings of about $185,000 when you think of all the salaries, benefits, and overtime that could go into that on average. Noxious weed, last year, we reevaluated how we were working with Public Works, and when Martin Tannehill took over Public Works as a whole, we were able to save a position that was still budgeted in last year because some of that was transitioning through the budget cycle last year. So by removing that position, that's another $80,000 roughly. That was a savings off budget. So far, this budget that will be coming to you will be a reduction of staff of about 3 positions for 2027. And right now, that was somewhere around the $265,000 mark in positions alone. Martin was able to come up and reviewing his road maintenance budget and where he's at today. He's already taken care of a significant number of his road maintenance. He still has a couple things that he needs to finalize for this year that will still require some dollars. Some of that's contractual work, things of that nature. But off of the $2.1 million that we had budgeted for road maintenance, he believed that he could finalize 2026 at $1.9 million. So I reduced $200,000 out of the road maintenance budget for 26. But we would continue to still budget for $2.1 million in 27, knowing that we're going to continue to have those projects and we reevaluate that in 27. On the bridge maintenance, there wasn't as big a savings, but him and Mark got together and spoke through and believed that they could find about $75,000 in savings off of what was budgeted for 2026. So between road maintenance and bridge maintenance, we're looking at a total of $275,000. That was savings there. We also were on schedule for ambulance. It was clear back in 2024 to get on that you approved the purchase of 2 ambulances. So I don't think Kenny was on the commission quite yet at that point. It's just when they have to build those and get on that list. You have to get that approved pretty early in the time frame. In conversations with his supplier and in looking at the mileage on the trucks, he believes that if we just purchase the one in 2026 instead of we had it budgeted and scheduled for 26 and 27, that will defer an ambulance purchase into the 2028 budget and give us some time to reevaluate and look back through our capital purchases in 27 and potentially we'll just plan to take care of that in 2028. So that would be deferring about that's $350,000 for the ambulance, because we'll be doing the truck that he'd be replacing this year is just a box remount, and so it's not the full truck. The full truck would come up in 2028 at $350,000. And then also the road and bridge, another place that they came in, they reevaluate all of their equipment. They were looking at their purchases. They do this every year, and they do not see any equipment that is going to be mandatory or require significant replacement on the largest frame. So they were able to reduce about $300,000 out of their special machinery transfer that we would typically do out of the highway fund into special machinery to cover those equipment costs. $300,000 sounds like a lot, but unfortunately in the road and bridge game, when you're looking at dump trucks and loaders and all of those things, they can actually, the graders, those things add up very quickly. But right now, based on where he's at and the condition of his equipment, he believes that he can hold pretty tight with maintenance and regular maintenance on all of them and push a lot of the larger purchases at least off so that we don't have to concern ourselves with those in 26 and 27. So we're going to try to get some more time out of that equipment, and it'll keep Billy a little busier in the shop, I think. But those are things that they felt like they were comfortable being able to make. So that's those are some of the bigger items, and that's how we came up with close to that $2 million that we've reduced out of the budget so far. Today, I would like some direction from the commission about the outside organizations. They've come to the table. I will say in our meeting with department heads, the conversation came up about how the departments, the county feel like they're doing all the cuts, and the outside organizations, we kind of feel like that, like they still want help, but they just want to make sure that they're also included in some of this, because it's a challenge for us as well. And they have to understand that we're tightening budgets all around. So that's up to your discretion, but I just wanted to bring that up, that it was a concern that came up from staff, and they were interested to hear what your thoughts were on the outside organizations. I don't know if you guys would like to just walk through the outside organizations one at a time and just kind of talk through. I can tell you what they requested, so we could start at the top on that list. The Conservation District had requested $40,000. That is, they received $40,000 since 2024. Prior to that, in 2023, they were receiving about $30,000. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Conservation District?
Yeah, okay.
I think, you know, we're obviously telling people and letting them know the money's not here. And we get money from taxes, is that correct? That's where our biggest part of the income is.
Correct.
And that's probably why we're looking for sources of businesses to come in and generate capital am I wrong?
No, you're not.
So if we don't have businesses coming in, if we don't have more money coming in, we're in a mess. Am I right? So, these, you know, these are gonna have to be cut. Am I out of line here?
I don't think you are. I went through these this morning and wrote down, I guess, some preliminary numbers, and I wanted to discuss it with you guys. I thought my suggestion would be to lower conservation back down to 30, which is their 23 number. There is a couple in here that I don't think we can cut. I don't think we have an option, but
On juvenile detention, I know it has 68. I know that's what it shows that we used, but some of that was prepaid last year on detention, and I'd like to hold them to the gun at keeping it at the 60. I know they're gonna throw a fit with me.
It's gonna be hard to do because
expansion.
if they house a juvenile, we have to pay for it. Because we cannot house the juveniles.
This,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, so I do think on juvenile detention, that's one that
It's based on numbers.
it's really a budget number.
Yeah, okay.
And then it kind of.
Okay.
Build.
I stand
that
corrected.
was the one I was thinking. I don't think we
Okay, I
can do
stand.
anything about it.
Well,
Okay.
if we just trimmed it, the 30, back to 65,000, I mean, is that going?
Yeah, no. It's not
We'll
gonna,
still get billed for it, Lynn, so we'll.
Yeah, so if it comes in,
it's gonna make it different.
if it comes in at 70, that's the only concern is, it
Or it
depends
comes-
on if our juveniles, if we could just get our juveniles to, not break the law.
Hey,
Commit crimes.
Give us some money. Eager to give. Yeah,
Yeah, build it.
I was looking at their ask is what I'm at.
right,
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, we're doing everything we can down there. I mean,
no. That's one of those situations that we just do not have a lot of control over.
But if we did put 65 and it ended up 70, then we still would pay that.
Correct, it just comes out of our reserves.
Do we need it? You know, if we leave it what it is and it comes out 65, then I'm just.
well, these are just budget things anyway. I mean, if the capital's.
Well, we need to plug a number
Some of
in.
it-
So you think.
Some of these we just write.
Oh, I'm just saying, 60.
Yeah.
That-
So
that-
if you, like for the Conservation District, the Central Kansas Free Fair Tri-County, the Historical Society of Kansas Mental Health, OCCK, and Driving Dickinson County, we will, like whatever numbers you approve, we'll actually write them a check for that amount.
Okay.
So it's not based on usage or anything of that knowledge.
I think we need to keep moving because we've got some to cover.
Yeah,
So
that's-
I like your approach, Kenny, where you just came up with your number and then we can bounce off of it.
Flint Hills, I kept the same. And I only did that because they've held that number it's gonna be 3 years now. But we can change that one too. I don't know how dependent they are on that. I feel like they are very dependent on us, but I don't know.
So they also receive federal funding, they receive funding from the state. This
I
is
think
to
we got a
offset the
budget.
meals. I don't know if we received anything, did we, Marcus? So I don't think so. Well, no,
And this goes towards the
it goes for the meals.
meals at the senior centers throughout the county.
Yeah, the 4 sites that we've got. So Abilene, Harrington, Chapman, and Solomon.
I'm gonna table that one for now. I'm gonna go to the one.
Kind of the spirit of what you mentioned, Marcus, on the others are making cuts. I don't know. I wondered about just trimming that down to 10,000 even.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Take off 1,250.
I can get behind that. Central Kansas Free Fair. I struggle with this one a lot. think it's important we have a fair. I'm not saying, but I do think we need to cut some of it. I put it 20,000 down, 55,000. It might be aggressive. But I think they're turning it around. They're getting ticket sales, they're getting rodeo ticket sales, they're getting beer sales, liquor sales. It's not the same free fair as it used to be. They should be able to generate a revenue. I guess.
It kind of depended on weather and
That too, and I get
what
that.
people spend when they come in. I'd cut that back 5,000, but
Okay.
70,000.
Why don't we, can we meet in the middle then, like 65,000?
I think so. Because we need to come up with something.
Okay.
I mean, we can still revisit this. but
Yeah,
think that's-
exactly. That's
Once
just
you get
preliminary.
those numbers plugged in and the others, because we're,
If we don't have to finalize this today, you can continue to think. This just kind of gives me some guidance to plug these numbers in,
but if we plug it in and get the RNR
see where you're.
framed in.
The Tri-County Fair is planning to come next week. They wasn't able to make it in on our earlier schedule. So just to give you a heads up, he will be here next week to present.
Okay.
They had always received somewhere around that 5 to 5,500, and last year I think they had a specific item, if I remember right, that they was going to increase the purchase and cover.
They went to 12. I was going to propose to go back to 55.
Well, let's hear what they say, but I think the 12 is probably too aggressive and, but let's hear what they have to say, I guess.
Good.
But I'm definitely thinking a lot less than 12.
Historical Society, I bumped this down 10,000 to 70. I got a couple of reasons. Number one, they're not open all day anymore. I got some concerns, I guess. And then that's where I'd be. Open to suggestion there too. On Historical Society, 70K. Bringing it down 10,000.
Yeah, I dropped it to 76. I don't know.
So
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Ron?
Debate that when we get there.
Yeah, I'm pretty flexible with that.
My thought there is, yes, it's useful, it's nice, we're still giving them a good chunk of money. It's what we can give.
What if we just put 74 in there?
I can live with that, yeah.
Only just for now.
I can compromise. Let's do it. Okay, Mr. Candace Mental Health, I was gonna look at you. Ask you what you wanna do. This is,
Some of the other counties are cutting them back significantly. I guess one of the things, it used to be they really, really depended on the counties and we still have an obligation as far as the counties. But in the last year, they've given 2 pay raises. They made an adjustment for January 1 to catch it up, and it was a very aggressive one. It was $1.5 million for 214 employees. And then another raise came through that here for July 1st, and it was pushed through that they needed it. And it was another $1.5 million plus $365,000 in Christmas bonuses. I was a no vote on that, by the way. And right now, in the last 3 years, we've been able to accumulate enough money on reimbursement and so on, that they're bought a building and putting a few $1 million into it. So actually, I mean, for being a nonprofit, they're very profitable right now. And so anyway, I had thought about lowering them to 70,000. And that'll be
Yes.
consistent with what a couple of counties are doing. But there's going to be a couple of some other counties are going to fund them fully.
I'm with you. You were, I don't think.
I was gone
$7
when they presented.
million, they have a 33% carryover this year.
Yeah.
7 million, out of $21 million they have in their account. That to me, they could, and it's unencumbered cash, if you read that thing correctly, meaning they can use that in their general, so.
And they're talking about more buildings.
I'm not saying if they run out of that in 10, 15 years, the next commission might not give them some money, but I mean, I think it's gonna take 10 years. I mean, unless they're blowing the money. but-
Well, no, and if the Medicaid reimbursement changes and the formula and such on it, but the thing is, right now, they're doing very well.
They're well funded.
Yeah, and paying large
Yeah,
salaries.
pretty good, yeah. Okay. OCCK, I think this is similar to the other one. I brought it down to 100. I was gonna go to that 105 mark, 100.
I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna put in 100, Lynn, if that's okay, and Ron?
I'm good.
Okay. That's a $1,250 reduction. About to clap. Driving Dickinson County, this one hits home, but it's not subject to this. I think I want to hear your guys' suggestions. I would park it at 120 or less. And I'm open to going down farther. I will say this, we have a capital campaign coming up. It is not funded. You know, if we don't get as many investors as we did last time, it is going to go, it's going to be unfunded. It's going to start running out of money. But the capital campaign, we need to see what that does before we need to know. So we need to wait basically a year and see what that comes in at and decide how much public support they need.
I disagree in the respect that that's one entity, that's the motor to the combine. And if that motor isn't running, that combine doesn't pick up anything.
I do
That
agree.
brings in- I mean, the other ones support services and they're very important, don't misunderstand me. But that is the head, the very first part of what goes on in this county and the surrounding areas. So it's actually lower than it's been. I mean, they've been as high as, 150.
I had 125 in there. I mean, just to keep it the same as last year.
Steady.
I mean, I think in principle, I agree with you, Ron, and maybe we're,
I don't like to see that. I'd rather leave that one alone personally, but that's low now. And like you say, we've got some stuff coming up with them.
Yes, I do think we got some good things going on. I think we got a good team in there finally. I really do. I think they're going to last. I think we're going to get some tenure out of them. And at the end of the day, that's what that organization really needed, was a leader, a director, CEO, whatever the title is, to run it for more than 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm impressed we got that.
the idea originally is we wanted to jumpstart it and really get some money to boost it. And then find a way to taper off. But they do have a good, what I like is they do have a good partnership because they do have private funding come in through pledges.
Mhm.
But that's not a
Guarantee.
Just
yeah, so that can vary. I mean, every once in a while, if a business closes or something changes,
Mhm.
mine wasn't significant, but I'm fulfilling what I promised, even though I don't own the company anymore. But there's other businesses where I know things have changed.
And the other side of that, guys, is it's the one that I'm a part of. So I didn't want to exclude myself from this. Like, everyone's got to get it, I guess, is where I was a little bit, but
we're all seeing everything get adjusted, but that's one there that I really personally feel that I don't think we're going to gain a lot by taking $5,000 away from them. And there's a lot of potential for that 5,000.
I think they have the funding in place that's not going to impact their business on a yearly basis or week to week or month to month. But it's still the responsibility falls upon them to have more partnerships and then, to keep doing what they're doing. But I think they do have the funding in place. So I don't think they're totally dependent on it, but yet we're a very reliable source of their operation.
if we go with what we got and we take Lynn, Ron, and we just keep them at the 130 like they're asking. We're at 553, 125.
Kind of 106,880 off of that.
What are we at?
553, 125 for all of it. If
Absolutely.
we do what we just talked about.
That certainly helps with what Marcus has got on the.
Yeah, and that gives me some good guidance at this point. I think that was very helpful.
Not quite happy.
That's $106,000. That, I mean, that's just, to me, it's showing good faith on just kind of what we're doing with the, everyone's kind of, there's enough pressure on everybody. It's just kind of how it is. And
Ron, you brought up,
value of the organization.
do we waive our COLA for the commission?
I would suggest so. I want to take a step, yes, to show leadership and
I'm gonna have to agree. I think we should take a pay increase.
no. Not in these,
If anything, we should go down, but I think we've done that already, but I definitely don't think we should take a pay increase.
no.
Okay.
No, you feel,
No,
I don't
that's
think we
fine.
should, I think we went down 10%. That's a good enough. And then I think we should just stay there.
Okay.
I want the community to know that we're doing this not for our help, that we're trying to help. So,
So this gives you, Marcus, numbers to plug in, and then you can come back with the reports similar to what you had here.
Yeah, we'll bring more information for you next week. I will be out next week, but we're gonna have some materials for you to take a look at next week, and then I'll be back the following week, and we can continue this. We need to be able to by July 20th. So the July 18th meeting, we would need to let Jennifer know that whether we are planning to exceed the revenue neutral rate. If we're not, then obviously we just let her know that we're not going to exceed the revenue neutral rate. I think we're going to be close. And then at this point, we'd be able to, at the earliest, hold the budget hearing on August 20th would be the earliest, and we could have it pretty much any time through September as well, depending on whether we exceed or not on the revenue neutral. So next coming weeks, we'll have some time to really dive into the full budget, take a look at that. And this gives me the guidance I needed to just at least move forward. So this is helpful.
And I wouldn't probably be inclined to increase the tri-county fare. But I want to hear what they have to say. Maybe there's some special project or something that gives more justification, and so maybe it'd be between 5,500 and 12, but
I had them penciled in 5,500, but obviously if something changes next week, just let me.
Okay, so you left it at
We can make
55.
that adjustment. For now, I'm
Okay.
going to plug it in at that.
Okay, that's
Just
good.
for my current purposes of just being able to have a number.
Sure.
And then next week, if you talk to them, we can make those adjustments. Don't move this time. Being a problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jennifer's, all your equipment ordered pretty good, all ready to go.
It'd be shame.
Yeah. Do us another prayer today?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, you going, okay?
I did.
We want to thank you for that. Appreciate that. Believe me, we all need it. We need all help we can get. So how's things in Detroit? Flooded? You guys low area, flooded area?
Yeah, the water was running down the road like a river when I got that, all that flooding everywhere else, but it went away eventually. Tore up the road a little bit, ruts and stuff.
I heard that one day you said it was bad.
I was told you they lifted the rock up and like laid it in the yards. That's how hard the water was.
Our little community, we're still trying to clean up after that storm. It's been a mess to get all cleaned up.
Yeah. But there's still quite a few limbs down or anything.
Oh, Marcus, semi-loads.
Really?
Yeah. And the thing is, they're heavy and they're big. It takes special equipment. Damage it does to your house, the rubbing on the roofs and all the things that Damage you don't really see, but it's there.
Yeah. There's a lot of trees down.
Let's see about whole city block worth, length of a railroad track.
I was still thinking that last time I went.
I was there the other day. They were saying,
We're gonna go see Leah.
When you're down.
yeah,
Almost looks like the wars in our face.
yes, it did.
I drove through some residential areas and every house almost has just a pile of limbs in the front yard. The city was,
You don't have some wood vines?
yeah, I haven't even been out there
You
yet.
got about 20 seconds.
I'm wondering if it's still there.
Thank you.
It's,
I knew you could get up here in 10.
He's publicizing the canvas dates, so they're listed on the bottom of that, so just FYI, so you have that.
Perfect, thank you.
Call this meeting to order. If it all rise for the flag salute. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing for the prayer. Mr. Peterson.
Heavenly Father, again, we just give you thanks for this day, and we just lift up the commissioners and other officials in the county and pray that your Holy Spirit will guide them in decisions that they make. As they look at funds, Lord, there are many places that need money in the county. And we just pray that they can look through that and judiciously decide which ones need a bump up and which ones could maybe do with a little less. We just thank you for the detail that they go into to study this budget. Heavenly Father, we also pray for your Holy Spirit to guide them in other decisions that they make. We thank you for all the people that serve our county, whether they be employees or volunteers or elected officials, Lord. We just pray for your guidance. We thank you again for all the moisture that you've sent earlier, and pray now that you'd give us a week or two break so that they can finish the harvest and get some more planting done. Heavenly Father, I also pray that you would guide people that are out in the country driving as they come up on a slow moving vehicle, that they can consider their speed and not cause any kind of accidents. And so we just pray for safety. Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for your gift of Jesus and the eternal life that we can have through him. And we thank you for the guidance that you give us. And we pray all this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Approval of the agenda today, Commissioners. We have the consideration of purchase for guardrails, structural steel, decking, and sheeting for bridge at 1404 300 Avenue. We also have debris draft removal proposal from Caw Valley Engineering to comply with FEMA standards. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
So move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Moving now to the consent agenda. Excuse me. Minutes for June 18th meeting are provided in your packet, Commissioners. Accounts payable of $326,529.90. SD security wire of $4,800 and hand checks for $50. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Commissioner comments and committee reports. I'm gonna kick it off this week. We had a very good meeting Monday. I'm sorry, was it Tuesday? I'm forgetting my days. It was this week. It was a strategic planning meeting with driving Dickinson County. I thought we had some very good dialogue in that room. The old strategic plan was about 15 pages long. Each goal had about 25 or 30 sub goals under it. We simplified that plan into 3 main goals that we want to focus on. We'll be coming out with those in the campaign. I think it's focused, so we're going to hyper focus on what we know the county needs. I'll give you a little sneak peek. Housing is a very big topic of discussion in that meeting. So that is the direction we want to go, and really looking forward to working with some of the community leaders and partners that participated in that meeting. So I thought it was excellent, and it's a good starting place to launch us from. Lynn?
Don't have anything in particular, so continue to hear feedback from people in the community. And I think with the budget, things going on, just in general, we do want to hear from people. So but as far as any formal meetings, I did not have any.
Thank you, Lynn. Ron?
I did spend some time again yesterday at the Juvenile Detention Center. Things are working well, fine, hanging in there. I want to applaud the farmers out there for the harvest going on. It's a little bit slow, but they're trying to get with that wheat and get it out of there. Obviously, we've had a lot of rain, so it slowed things down. Grass in the pasture growing good, cattle are doing well that way, and everybody's been pretty safe. So we have to thank all for that situation. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Ron. No petitions or proclamations today. We'll go ahead and move to a brief period for public comments. If County Administrator Janelle Dockman will read the rules, please.
For the Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4317 and 75-4318A, as the elected board, the county commission is not allowed to meet or make any decisions without posting the meeting. They are only allowed to act on items on the agenda which they set. During the regular meeting, the county commission may allow for public comments on items not listed on the approved agenda. It is at the discretion of the county commission if they allow comments on agenda items. If you wish to provide comments, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address. If you are online, raise your hand and we will unmute you. Please state your name and address. Each person may speak for 3 minutes. The allotted time will start after the speaker has given his or her name and address. Public comments shall be addressed to the county commission only and not to the speaker or the audience. Only the county commission will be permitted to ask the speaker questions. The public comment period is not a back and forth discussion with the county commission. You should make your views and input known to them, but it is not a time to ask them questions. You should not expect them to respond to your comments. Comments may express support or agreement with the previous speakers, but in the interest of time, please do not repeat the same information. You may state something to the effect of your name and address and you agree with the previous speaker. It is important to maintain a respectful, non-threatening atmosphere for anyone who would like to speak. Please do not engage in such actions as cheering, booing, clapping, insults, threats, etc.
Thank you. Any comments for today? Got one. Good morning.
Hello, commissioners. My name is Annabelle Eaton. I live at 908 South Bridge Street in Enterprise. I would really encourage you guys to do your own due diligence on data centers and windmills and all that stuff. Get involved. Just because you guys are elected in the seat doesn't mean you guys can't go to the zoning meetings. So you guys can hear with your own ears what is said, what is discussed, the concerns of the people. And when email comments are accepted and only given to the board under a hearing, it's not okay. I don't believe that that is the way it should be done. If the community is involved, they need to have their voices heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments for today? Okay. Reports from county officers. County Administrator Janelle Dockman.
Public Works Department has replaced the structure in the 2400 block of Fair Road that was damaged by the storms. The road's now back open. They've also are replacing a structure at 500 Avenue, just east of Paint Road. The IT director and staff attended the cybersecurity training for incident response. That's pretty important with all of the cybersecurity issues going on. The emergency manager will be presenting to Rotary this week on the CERT program, which is the Community Emergency Response Team. So you'll get to hear him Friday if you are a member of Rotary. The Board of EMS performed the annual inspections this week at our EMS department. So they're going to look through the entire department. They'll look into the ambulances and any response vehicles that we have with that. K-Work was also here, which is the workers' comp, and they toured the jail and the sheriff's department. We did that yesterday. We are continuing to compile and submit information to KDM for disaster expense tracking, and we'll see if the thresholds have been met by the state. And as a reminder, county offices will be closed July 3rd in observation of the 4th of July, but the transfer station will be open on July the 3rd. Do you have any questions for me?
No, thank you. Moving on to notices of communication, County Clerk Jennifer Gayton.
We received a public notice from KDHE for a proposed action to reissue an existing state permit for an existing facility, Cedar Hill Inc. at 467 800 Avenue in Carlton, Kansas. All written comments received on or before July 25th will be considered in the final determination regarding this public notice. To read this document in its entirety, please go to our website at www.dkcoks.gov to the County Clerk and Elections page and click on KDHE Public Notices.
Thank you, Jennifer. We're moving on to the official business for today. We have the consideration of purchase of guardrails, structural steel, decking, and sheeting for a bridge at 1404 300 Avenue. If you look in your packets, Commissioners, that is in there. Don't want to misquote the number. I think it was 37.
578.88. And that's from 3 different vendors.
And you can verify those are lowest bids and most competitive bids.
Yes.
Assume this is a part of our outlay plan anyway. Questions, Commissioners? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the purchase of guardrails and bridge replacement. Sorry, let me read it all. The request and purchase of structural steel, decking, sheeting, guardrail for the bridge replacement in the amount of $37,578.88. We have a motion.
So moved.
So moved. I'll second that motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. If you will let Martin know.
Mhm.
Thank you. Moving on to next agenda item. One sec. Slow. Debris drift removal proposal from Call Valley Engineering to comply with FEMA standards. I have not had a chance to look at this one.
Janelle could probably give us a summary of it.
Yeah, would you like to, Janelle?
So it's something that I mentioned last week, and we have 3 river bridges that have debris that's stacked up against it that will have to be removed. And Call Valley Engineering will have to supervise that. There'll be permits that they'll have to perform. They'll do survey work as needed. And this is twofold. It's for debris removal, but it has to be removed anyway because we have underwater bridge inspections this year, and there cannot be any debris against the pilings and that. So this is an estimated cost from Call Valley Engineering in the amount of $24,980, and it's for 3 river bridges on Solomon Road, Eden Road, and Jeep Road. One thing that they have been very willing to work with us on is they will not exceed that, and they will do their best to keep it well below that if at all possible. But this also complies with FEMA standards as well when the time comes to remove debris. So now I will say that if there's not a declaration, or if the state doesn't meet their threshold, there is a possibility we will not be reimbursed for this, but it's still going to have to be done when the time comes.
Just as it goes, I mean, I think probably most people understand this or know this, but you know, if there's some trees that are down that are in a waterway or river or stream or something like that, it's not really the county's responsibility as they start to fall. But once we get a heavy rain and it washes up next to a bridge, then we've got to protect that structure. And that's when the county can go in and actually dedicate time and effort to remove that debris.
Right. And we probably would have to contract some of that work as well. We don't have the equipment to do it when the time comes to remove some of the debris, but Call Valley will work with us on that to have the removal taken care of. They'll also pull all the permits required through DWR and the Corps.
So can we put a cautionary statement on it? Public, do not burn the wood underneath the bridge.
I think the word's out.
I would hope so.
Are you asking for a motion?
Yeah, I would ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to the Call Valley Engineering to do that for the service for $24,980.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Thank you.
Kenny, I wonder, would you want to go ahead and mention, there's a couple of things that we talked about in work study, but it's being pushed more to the agenda for next week, and just so people are aware regarding the moratorium, but also I think the request that Jennifer had made to change the resolution, just so people know this is coming.
You kind of did a good job there. But no, we're gonna have two agenda items next week. One is to increase the fee or talk about debate the fee. And debate meaning is how it's supposed to be said. Discuss, there you go.
Analyze.
Increasing the fee for judges and people at the poll. The other one I think the other thing we talked about a lot today, I don't know if we're gonna address it next week, is appropriations or outside organization. The funding that we put towards that. Heavily encourage people to take a look at the video. We think we're going to try to save us about 105,000 out of that. We're also going to talk about a debated topic, which is the moratorium. And I think I would request that, I know we may not like this, but I do think we need to hear from people. I'd like to know where you guys are on this. And I would really invite the public to come in and give comments.
Well, and also, as Tim had reported in the study session, we're working on, as the Planning and Zoning Board is discussing text amendments, then after the board discusses it, because that's what they have been appointed to do, then hear from the public on that. So we still have statutory obligations that we have to follow, and we're trying to make sure that we are, but still hear from the public and then have a process with that.
And what we're going to be discussing next week on the moratorium is all of it, all the ones that everyone's pretty fired up about. Alternative energy, data centers, battery storage, solar. We're going to talk about how this is, how we would like this to go down and what we'd like to see. So
Direction to the Planning and Zoning
Correct.
Board as to what they're supposed to do.
correction is the right way to say that, yes. I really want to hear from the public. This is obviously a very sensitive topic and it's highly debated, so.
I don't want the public to think we're a threat, and then they're welcome anytime to come in here and visit about those issues. Because that's how we fix things. But the more information we have, the better decisions we make.
Come and ask staff as
Yes.
well,
Yes,
because that is our job too.
yes, absolutely, Janelle.
I'll do all that. My phone number is out there. You can call me anytime. I take calls. So, and then I do encourage you to call the staff too. So I'm not saying, like you said, you don't have to just communicate with the commission. You're more than welcome to communicate with quite literally anybody in this building. I don't know what some people are going to tell you about data centers, but regardless, my point, and I think where Lynn's going here is we want to hear from you guys next week. This is a big debate. This is a big topic and we need to work through this as a county. So I think that's what you're.
Yes,
wanting us
yes,
to do.
just to
But I agree.
kind of alert people that it's, where all of a sudden someone doesn't think, well, it's taken us by surprise. I mean, we're.
And I also,
Comments, before the meetings, during the week, anytime, emails, phone calls, we're at the meeting.
I would, if we're inviting them, I'd go ahead and plan on, we're probably gonna have a long meeting, guys. So I know it's a middle of the day, it's hard to get here, but
There's email set up for you as well.
You can also go online.
okay,
Online view.
let's see how many we get. I would encourage it.
I had mentioned the invitation from the Kansas State Fair last week about the $250. I finally was able to get a hold of them. The display is not going to be permanent. So, and they don't have a budget yet because they're not sure if they're able to go forward. They would like to have at least 50% of the counties participating in it. And all they want, it's going to be a banner, kind of dependent on the size, like 1x2, and just something that showcases the county. So I don't know if you're interested in participating in that or not, but I do need to let her know.
I think we're kind of picking apart some of our outside agencies for a few $100 or $1,000 here and there. I don't think it's necessary for us to be on board on that one.
I think that's what I was wondering with the discussion this morning, so I'll let them know.
That's,
Yeah, if it's permanent, I'd like to look at them a little differently,
A
but
little bit
it's
different.
just a temporary. And again, we're picking little things apart. We go clear on the Hutchinson to get $250. You know,
I said it before in here, if we don't care about the pennies, we're not worth the nickel, so.
I'll just do good. Yeah.
It's an old one.
It is an old one. That's a good saying, though. I want to mention one last thing before we close today. We are going through a lot of work to try to trim the budget here at the county. And I encourage the public to give us some feedback on that a little bit, where you guys think, how you think we're doing. You guys heard kind of all of it today. We are trying to trim $2 million off the budget so we can keep the taxes from going up. That's what's going on. So I think I'd encourage you guys to give us some feedback on that. How do you think we're doing there? Any other discussions for the day, commissioners?
I mean, we adjourned.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Hmm.
No, thanks. I'll go ahead.